What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla stock and the overall market. I'm going to do some in-depth analysis using the bigger time frames and talk about what I see playing out, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I begin to double this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them. And the offer ends very soon, in just about 3 weeks from now. Anyways, for Tesla, I just want to mention that overall, when you look at the monthly time frame, Tesla's looking at a very, very nice looking tightening structure over here as we're continuing to tighten. And I think that there is potential for Tesla to make a very, very big move as we approach the end of the year for a very, very big bullish breakout. And for the shorter term, there is potential for another breakout, at least for the month of June to the upside, as long as we hold particular supports, which I want to break down. So I'm going to be talking more about them and how Tesla's looking in just a minute. As you guys know, for the shorter term, there are a lot of things affecting the markets. One common trend is that the market has a tendency of becoming very fearful and we get lots of sell-offs. The market was almost in the fearful zone for the fear and greed index. And then as soon as that happened, the market started to get bought back up again because everyone was trying to buy a lot of these puts. The put to call ratio started going up. And we started to see a lot of puts expiring for Friday, May 31st for SPY until the market got a little squeeze. This is very similar to what we were predicting. After the PCE data report came out, we kind of popped and dropped, followed by a big squeeze at the end of the day. On top of this, we're approaching the month of June, which tends to be, not too bad for the markets, tends to be decent overall. But Tesla in particular does have a tendency of running historically 78% of the time in the month of June. And this is the strongest month for Tesla based on what we've seen throughout its history. So we'll see how things go for Tesla. There's a very good chance we might see some nice upside, especially if we start breaking some key levels. So I'm going to talk about some bigger time frames now and just focus on the technical analysis. So Tesla's been getting tighter and tighter within this range right over here. And we are looking pretty decent right here with this nice liquidity grab right here. There's a good chance Tesla will try to maintain this structure and continue to kind of push. If we can try to hold some key levels, I'll be watching that 180 resistance of Tesla breaks that we're going to be looking for a big push. And then on top of that, on the much bigger time frames, if you were to take a very, very handy dandy Fibonacci retracement chart like this, go over to the all-time high and kind of come down like this. What else you'll see is that Tesla has been, it basically got a rally back in last year around July. We actually saw Tesla rally. The rally kind of started around the May period going into June/July. It's about the 0.618 retracement area before we start to see it continue to dip towards our 0.236 retracement. That's what Tesla did. And overall, it's still holding the structure very, very well. So, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually try to continue with this pump. Now, one thing you could also do on the monthly is kind of like break out another fib level, and you'll see that the 0.786 retracement is where Tesla kind of pushed to before we got another bounce. So this also favors that Tesla's still holding support, and we're on actually an uptrend. It's just very, very slow. It's a very, very slow uptrend on the monthly, so things should improve. Now, how about the weekly time frame for Tesla? How are things looking in my personal opinion for this? The answer is on the weekly time frame, I did notice that we're getting very close to a bullish cross in the PPO. The reason why this is significant is because if we go back throughout history, we'll actually start off from like this period right here. Let's start off in like the last couple of years. If you go back to like 2023, right here, okay, we got a bullish cross in the PPO right over here for Tesla. This is when Tesla started pushing upwards. This was back in March of 2022, and Tesla went from about 200 and we were actually technically right here at $300 a share. We went from there all the way up to about $380. So we got a little rally once we got that bullish PPO crossover. Right here on the weekly time frame, when Tesla started pushing up to about 280, we got a bullish cross, and we saw Tesla go all the way up to about the 315 area. So it was very, very interesting to see. Right here, the same thing happened in January of 2023. Tesla got a bullish cross in the PPO going from $130 a share all the way up to about 216. And it actually continued to maintain this as it continued to rally. Now, since then, Tesla has been consolidating, trading sideways, kind of dipping a little bit more and more and more. And we turned very bearish on the weekly for a couple of weeks. That's why Tesla went from this 260 area slowly downtrending, making way down, rejecting off the 200 EMA and just continuing to dip all the way down to this 144 area. And what's happening recently is that ever since we had 144, that was just a couple of weeks ago, Tesla's been decimated, hit hit some very, very tough levels. It just fell and fell and fell to the point where it is due for a bit of a bounce, in my opinion. And now what you'll notice is that we're getting across on the PPO already. The weekly is starting to show life right here. And this does kind of show us that Tesla wants to start pushing in this direction towards the 200 area. So it is showing life. We're on a slight uptrend overall on Tesla. And this thing wants to actually start pushing, as historically this does kind of favor that. So considering the possibility that yes, we could see more upside, what else could we actually look at? Let's look at the daily time frame real quick. The daily for Tesla is not as strong looking. We do have an inverse head and shoulders like structure, and we're just consolidating a lot. And that's where the issue is for Tesla right now. If you look at the entire month of May, for most of the month of May, it was just sideways price action for Tesla. Now, we currently have a nice head and shoulders like structure on the 4 hour. If we look at Tesla like this, and we have the support zone right here around this 173 area. If we lose 173, yes, I could see Tesla dip down to fill the gap at 168. And if we actually hold support, we could try to rebound and try to break past 180. I would say if we break past 180 or 182, yes, Tesla could start to break out. And notice how we're currently at 178. So we're not that far from it. We're not too far from that target where Tesla could start breaking out from. What I do like about Tesla is this chart does have upside potential with a nice inverse head and shoulders. So this does favor Tesla pushing all the way up to about $207 a share. I think there's a very good chance Tesla will be pushing up to the 200s. And I think that's as long as the inverse head and shoulders holds, we manage to hold above 180, there's a good chance we're going to get a rally for the month of June. It's been a while. We've been consolidating a bit, and I think it is time for Tesla to try to do it. But we need confirmation first. Now, worst case is, let's just say the head and shoulders right here does play out. Let's just say that Tesla does end up rejecting. We end up losing this support at 173. Even if we do dip all the way down to 168, we are going to be fine, because as long as we get a bounce, the inverse head and shoulders is still valid, right? So Tesla, even if we do, like worst case, if we do come down to like 168, we could still hold up and continue to rally back, because Tesla's very volatile and very fast, and continue to push as we hit later days into the June period. We could still make a move just like this, and this inverse head and shoulders will still play out. If we don't get that rejection, if we just continue to start rallying with the market from here, we could just start this move from here and just start making our way up towards the 200 area as we approach this month, as we get closer into the later days of June. So there's a very, very good chance this is what's going to happen. We're going to get a little rally very soon. And we have a lot of pieces of news coming out that could fuel this. The market is about to rally too, in my opinion. So I think that there's a good chance Tesla's going to see a rally for this month. We'll be approaching that 200 period. Why? Because of the uptrend on the monthly time frame. The way we're looking, as we've been consolidating for quite some time, the bullish looking candlesticks that we are starting to see, and the fact that Tesla needs to try to break 180 to give us some confirmation for breakout, if not 182, and the fact that we're actually very close to that. We're actually pretty close. Tesla's been building up a lot of momentum, and I think that there's a very good chance we will get that move. Now, excuse me, for SPY, I wanted to call out that SPY looks very, very bullish. Okay, we look really, really bullish on SPY. I'm going to hide my drawings just to kind of talk about this. This could also help Tesla on the 4 hour. You guys can see SPY got a very, very bullish breakout. With a gap to fill at 530, I think we're going to be approaching all-time highs pretty easily. Why? Let's go over everything. The daily, very bullish looking daily candlestick on SPY. We're easily going to the 530s and approaching all-time highs. No doubt about that, in my opinion. The weekly on SPY is showing lots of momentum, and we're actually nearing, if you look at the weekly right like this, we're still on a very, very strong uptrend. We didn't get the strongest weekly looking candlestick, but there's a wick forming here, so I think that this could still shift. And then the monthly looks bullish for SPY. Look at the monthly continuing this rally. There's no sign of it stopping, and it still looks very, very strong. So everything's kind of pointing in the direction we're going to be breaking all-time highs. I figured that in all the different time frames. I don't even need to go into way too much detail. It just looks kind of obvious. Look at the QQQ. There's no sign that this rally is getting a rejection. There's no sign it's getting a big drop. It's still holding up very well in the monthly. Also, the weekly looks pretty good on the QQQ, not too bad. We sometimes get these little like one red week before we continue higher, a few red weeks we continue higher, 3 red weeks we continue higher, a little red week then we continue higher. So that's what I'm seeing. When you look at the weekly time frame, we're nearing a bullish cross on the PPO right over here as well. If we get that, we will continue higher for new all-time highs. QQQ looks bullish on the bigger time frames, right? Look at Nvda. Nvidia's weekly is a little bit less strong because of the fact that we've been fighting some tough resistance, but the monthly remains bullish. Nvidia could continue to go and may even try to break 1100. This is still helping the market push. Aapl looks pretty bullish on the monthly We could be breaking all-time highs as well towards that 192 area. Looks pretty strong in my personal opinion. I think we could be approaching 200 over the next few weeks, but it's going to be a little bit slow compared to the overall market. And then Bitcoin, we're not that far from all-time highs. I think we'll be seeing a push towards the 70,000 area soon. Things remain bullish. Nothing's really changing. So for Tesla, what do I think is going to happen? Honestly, guys, I favor the upside a bit more. And then on the monthly time frame, what technical analysis is kind of showing us, if we do get that bounce, I wouldn't be surprised if we do something like this on Tesla, where market gets a little rally. We could even rally going into July into the 220 zone. We get a little rejection, make our way back down, heading into this like August to September period. Then for the end of the year, we see another squeeze. And we see Tesla start to fill these imbalances, especially after the August period when Tesla announces the launch of their robotaxi announcements. There might be a lot of hype in that period, and we may just continue to kind of push just like this as time goes on. So we could rally as we approach August. So like right here, July going into like August right here, this is when we could get this little rally back up into the 220s or even higher than that. Could break down right here into October and then just continue with a breakout. I still favor that. I think that 2025 will be a very good year for Tesla as we're going to be pricing in a lot of things. And the stock is just taking such a hit, guys. It's only so much lower Tesla could go. Any of these dips are just a lot of buying opportunities. So I consider myself a big bull on Tesla, especially going into next year. We just have to give it time. Now, what about the recession? If there's a recession, or if it's officially announced, at least based off economic definitions, right? Let's say it drags the market down. All right, maybe it's going to happen. It's going to be fine for Tesla. It's going to create nothing but buying opportunities. I'm still confident the numbers are going to be good, and you shouldn't let the fear get to you. Remember, people thought Tesla was a dead company back in 2008. They prevailed. The share price exploded. People thought Tesla was going to die, going down to 100 a share. It rallied all the way up to 300 within a few months. Right? It just shows how much this thing could run when the time is right, and we are going to see that run soon. Why is Tesla down? Because things have been tough for Tesla in the markets, right? We've had a lot of difficulties for the sector compared to right now. And you have to consider the fact that Tesla's had hardships when it comes to their fundamentals, when it comes to getting their sales up and such. So I think Tesla's going to see a big squeeze. I think we're going to be looking for a big run. And I see a lot of potential in the share price moving forward. Do I think we're going to break all-time highs? We will eventually, but we're just going to take our time in doing so. So you have to give Tesla the time it needs. From a technical standpoint, Tesla to me still remains bullish. And I think that what's more probable is for the month of June, we're going to likely see history repeat itself and Tesla is going to try to see a rally. So this is what I'm seeing as the most likely possibility. I'm going to actually delete this real quick. Tesla's going to likely see this inverse head and shoulders play out. We're waiting for this thing to break out. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we will eventually get there. In addition to this, when you look at the 4-hour, I could also draw a trend line like this. I'll show you guys something else that's kind of cool. Take your trend line just like this. And what you'll see is that we're also approaching this resistance right here. If you want to draw this, you could draw it a little bit like this. But basically, Tesla's approaching this resistance. And I think that we're eventually going to try to break the 180 area. That's where we're kind of approaching for Monday. Break 180, and this thing's going to be going up to the much higher 180s, and a lot more upside is coming. So I favor we're going to get a break soon. I think it's trying to build a lot of momentum. It's been consolidating, getting ready for a big move. And I think June could be the month that we're going to see some upside for Tesla. All right, so that's what I'm seeing for Tesla. The monthlies look very, very strong for the markets. The monthly is also showing some momentum for Tesla that could be shifting. So we'll see how things go moving forward. With that being said, I just want to say I really appreciate every single one of you so much for listening. Please have an absolutely incredible rest of the day. I'll see you guys very, very soon. I'll be doing a much more in-depth video for Tesla, SPY, Nvda, and the others in my video for tomorrow. I'll also be talking about like Meta, Coinbase, and a bunch of others. So wait for that. It should be coming out tomorrow in the afternoon. Until then, thank you all so much for listening. I'll see you guys very soon. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and peace out.